What's up, guys? I'm Austin, and welcome to Fantasy LCS Week 5 preview of Valentine's Special. The format's a little different this week, and therefore it'll be a slightly shorter episode than usual, but I think you guys will still enjoy it. Let's begin our journey for love across the pond. This week I love Kobe, but would be careful not to get my heart broken by Reckless. So Kobe had an excellent week the last time Splice played 2 games, as did his teammates. This weekend Splice will take on Fnatic and Roccat. Now, I think Splice will take down Fnatic. I think it'll be a close series, an entertaining series, but I think Splice will come out on top, and I also think they'll beat Roccat. Now, Reckless is a bit of a tricky pick because Fnatic is still working out the kinks with that new roster. Reckless averaged the 3rd lowest points per game of any AD in the best game format last week. This week, Fnatic will face Splice and Origin. Now, I already mentioned I think Splice will be able to take down Fnatic. I do think Fnatic will be able to take care of business against Origin. However, I would be a little cautious of that series because Origin is pretty bad. And fantasy value when a good team plays a bad team is not great. Now, I'm not saying Fnatic's a great team. However, I still think they should be able to handle Origin pretty well. I think those games will be pretty quick, and as a result, I'm not sure how many points Fnatic players will be able to put up against Origin. Now, real quick, staying on the topic of EU, I want to take a quick peek at Week 6, where UOL and Misfits will play 2 games each. So if you guys are looking to add some depth to your roster, get ahead of the game this weekend once rosters unlock and you can trade players again, those are 2 teams you can look towards. They are pretty hot right now, especially UOL. They're putting up great fantasy numbers for only playing 1 series per weekend, and so I think those are picks that you guys should consider. Now, TSM fans had their heart broken last week after a tough defeat to Echo Fox. This week, TSM will have to face the toughest schedule of any LCS team. Now, Bjergsen remains a must start. Most of you, myself included, probably took him within the 1st, 2nd, 3rd overall pick of your draft. I don't see a reason to bench him. He may not have put up great numbers last week, but he'll never put up bad numbers. Now, Wild Turtle, on the other hand, I would be very cautious about this weekend, and I think he's going to cause you some heartache. He'll have to take on a very talented C9 bot lane as well as very cohesive FlyQuest bot lane. Now, normally, as you know, I heavily discourage benching TSM players because I think they're some of the most consistent players in all of the LCS. I think they almost always put up good fantasy numbers. However, because of this incredibly difficult schedule this weekend, I would be very cautious of Wild Turtle. Echo Fox has been the most pleasant surprise of the LCS so far this split. In Week 4, Froggen and Acadian were the top 2 overall scoring players in the first 2-game format, and the number 1 and 3 respective players in the best game format. I don't think there's a reason not to start them. I think as a team, they have great synergy right now, and as fantasy values, I think they're through the roof. I think they're great pickups. If you're playing in a, let's say, 4 to 6 man league, odds are Echo Fox players weren't even drafted and might still even be available as free agents for you to pick up in a trade. Be wary of their game against Envy this weekend. Envy, like Origin I mentioned earlier, is a team that tends to get rolled over fairly quickly, not allowing their opponents to put up a ton of fantasy points. So as great as Echo Fox has been as a fantasy value, I would be a little cautious of that game this weekend. I would maybe lower your expectations slightly. However, I do think there's still a great start, especially Froggen and Acadian. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave any love letters in the comments section below. Remember to like and subscribe for more Fantasy LCS content, and I'll see you guys back here next week.